Ciao jewelry makers, my name is Joey Balistreri. Welcome to my channel. Today I am unboxing and creating with my second box that I received directly from the Czech Republic. The company is called Kraftika and they offer 2 subscription boxes per month. The first one I did an unboxing yesterday and I'll show you really quickly. I can maybe even pop up a picture on the screen, but I did this festive fringe necklace with that box, and that is a separate subscription. It's a sampler that's curated of Czech glass beads directly from the Czech Republic, and this box is their second offering, and it's quite different because this is actually a DIY jewelry box, and every month you get a code. Let me pull this in. Every month you get a code on your little insert that takes you to a full video tutorial for making 2 pieces of jewelry. And this month is super exciting because there is a third piece in this month's box and some extra gifts that are, for this month. So this one is called Bohem style. The other one is called Czech Beads Exclusive. And if you check the description box of this video, I'll put links to both. Now, what I'm going to say about this box, first of all, I love the little packaging that it comes in, and I get so excited when I get my little box directly from the Czech Republic. And I just love this little window box, and they always tie the box with jewelry quality cords, so you can actually do like a little knotted bracelet. I always save the cording that's on the box. And as I said, I'll pop up some pictures of the projects that are intended, because in this box you get everything that you need for those 2 pieces of jewelry. They are designed and worked out. So if you're newer to jewelry making and you're still just practicing your skills, this is wonderful for you. If you are a person that just doesn't like selecting all your beads and putting your colors together, but you love the handiwork, this box is wonderful for you. So they give you everything that you need for the projects: the stringing wire, the clasp, the little chain, jump rings, wire guardians, the word went right out of my head, the little crimp tubes that you just crush. So again, if you're newer, this is a super easy way to crimp. So you get all of that every month in this box. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing, just show you what's in this month's box, but I typically don't make the projects that it was intended for. I love the beads, but I am a very seasoned, decades of making jewelry, so I like to branch out and do my own thing. So that is the wonderful thing. This box is for everyone, because no matter where you are in your jewelry making skill and journey, there is something for you. So let's dive right in. I'm going to start right here. There were 2 of these gorgeous Czech glass rounds in black, faceted, and I just love them. I just love this jet black, and you'll see as we go through, but Czech glass is just unmatched in the faceting and just the quality. I just love it. And then there are some little 4mm Czech glass beads. They're black and I cannot find the hole. There it is, little 4mm. They almost look like a bicone. I think these are a bicone. They're black, so it's a little hard, but I think this is a bicone and not a faceted round. That's cool. And then a few of mine are missing because I have already designed 3 projects with this box, with just what's here. But these are like little lentil beads, and they are different color on each side, and the little drill hole is at the top. And then this is called an Orion star, and it's beautiful. I love, love, love this bead. With this shape of a bead, like this was one of the past boxes from this company, and when you get a unique shape like a pinch bead or this little star bead, you can make your bracelet closures with it. You can do so much. They make amazing spacers as well, and this is in, there's a couple of mine missing because this is in one of my projects. I can't wait to show you. And then there's these gorgeous little teardrop, and as you can see, everything matches. So like the colorway on these beads, they all are coordinated. So as I said, you can have a great time just following the directions and doing the projects that are intended, but everything is coordinated, so you can definitely go out on your own. This is one of my favorite things in this box. These are so cool. I'm going to string them on my wire opposite directions, but they are like half of a faceted check glass round. I have not seen this bead, and I've seen some beads. I don't know if I've been in a cave or what, but this just fascinates me, and this is going to be in one of the projects that I designed because they are so cool that way. But let me get another one. There are 4 of them, so hint, hint, they are perfect for earrings. And so like if you string them together, they make this cool shape. If you string them opposite, I had so much fun designing with these. So I left all 4 of them here, but they are in my first project. And then these are just wonderful. I am a seed bead lover. They are workhorses and very powerful in design. This is like a 6.0, maybe 6.0 size. It's just gorgeous. They're extremely uniform and just really great. These are also in my project. I love those. And then next up is a half black, half like, looks like vitriol. That or Lila Vega luster. I forget the name of this, but it's half and half, and it is just stunning. And again, it coordinates with everything else, and these are 6mm. And then aren't these cool? There are 6 of these little puffy coin beads, and they have that same colorway. Look at how pretty the dimension is on those. Ooh, that side is really pretty, just gorgeous. And then we got another check glass faceted round in 4mm. Look how beautiful. Same colorway. They're just wonderful. And I did the 8mm blacks. These are in one of my projects as well. These are a matte black faceted 6mm check glass round, and I love those. And then look at these gorgeous coin flower beads. Aren't they amazing? They are just wonderful. I love them. And they I don't want to spoil, but this is part of an extra gift that we got in this month's box, and I'll show you. But they are going to be earrings. There's earrings that were set up as a gift that came with this month's box, but I'm going to change them up a little bit. And this is one of my other very favorite things in this box. These little copper colored they're square, wavy squares. They are just gorgeous. Look how pretty they are strung together. Those are going to be in one of my projects as well. I love them. And then, you know, I always love getting seed beads. So I put the little seed beads in a dish so we could see them. They're this beautiful, like, they look very pink to me, but it's a metallic pink, like a rose gold. They are just beautiful. They are also being used in my project. I love those. And then, as I said, all of your findings for the 2 projects are in this box, so you don't have to get anything but your tools. But this month, we received an extra gift. So it was 2 of these flower coin beads and all of the supplies for making a pair of earrings. So this month has a little gift in it, bonus earring project. The Kraftika Company did both of their boxes that are kind of Christmas in this month, so that people that have gifts to make or people that make a lot of things for craft fairs at this time of year have things much ahead of time, and that is just great. I love the little diamond cut jump rings that they're intending for the earrings. I am going to branch out and do my own thing, but how sweet and lovely that there's extra beads and extra findings for a 3rd piece of jewelry this month. So I'm going to clear this away. Let me just make a tiny bit of space. I'll leave my little dish up here, and I have done a few little components. Let me show you this one. and I've done a little beaded component and another little beaded component, just playing. And those are going to go into the projects. And then I have made some jump rings. And let's see, what do I want to do first? I think I'm going to start with these earrings. I absolutely love these. I'm going to be using today my Soft Flex craft wire in 2 gauges. The 22 gauge is what I needed for this little component so that it would be small enough to go through the lentil beads and through the seed beads. And I'm also going to be using my Soft Flex craft wire in 20 gauge. And I have here in this little dish what I will need to do these sweet little earrings. And what you see here is one of the beads from the first Kraftika box. And I will link that in the description box, my video. I unboxed and did a project, a really stunning project. It's so fun and so easy and really festive and just unique. But these beads were in that box, and I brought those in because I want to make those as the drop on these earrings. So let me grab a piece of 20 gauge wire. These are super easy. I am going to use my 1-step looper, and the only thing to be mindful about this is the loops need to be going in opposite directions. So I'm going to start out, there's no beads on my empty wire. I'm going to put it in just past this back jaw of the 1-step looper, close it gently, and it makes a blunt cut for me so I can skip that step with my cutters. I have a nice clean end on my wire, and now I'm just going to pull my wire down and warm and straighten it so my loop is now centered on that wire. So that is that simple, perfect loop. And then I am going to make this my top of my earring, so it's going to go on my ear wire that way. So this loop needs to be parallel to my mat, and then I am going to feed on one of these little gold filled spacer beads. I will link these in the description box below. They have a little bit of weight to them. They're highly rated on Amazon as far as not tarnishing. A lot of Etsy sellers are using these in their pieces from what I read. So I've purchased them and I really like them, but I'll link them below. They just add a little something. And then I have these gold wavy disc spacers. I'm going to place one of those on my wire and then make a sandwich with the other half check glass round. Look how cool that is. I had so much fun playing with these shapes. This is one of the joyful parts of jewelry making to me, is just creating bead patterns and changing the shapes of beads by the way that you stack them. I just love it. Look how gorgeous that is. And I will say, I'm going to preface this by saying they put silver findings, like the free gift was silver ear wires and jump rings, and I see a lot of copper, like these beads that I love so much. Those are in a coppery color, and so I love gold, so I love gold and black. I think it's really elegant, so I'm going to work with gold. But that is the beauty also of this month's box, is really you could do any or all of the metallics. Like whatever your favorite is going to go with these beautiful blacks and these rosy colors, like the seed beads. You know, they're so rosy, so that would be pretty with copper, silver, or gold, or all three, or your favorite. So I'm just going to preface that, but I love gold, so I'm doing I love mixing gold and copper, so these are going to go in with my project as well. So back to my earring. So what I need to do now, and if you get this wrong, it's not a big deal. You don't have to redo the component. 2 pairs of pliers will make an adjustment at the end. But since I am threading this as my bottom drop on my earring, I need this loop to be going perpendicular to my mat. So I know that my 1-step looper always turns the wire up and makes the loop upward. So I'm going to hold this so that this loop will be going in the opposite direction of this one, if that makes sense. let me just do it. It's sometimes easier than explaining it. So this time I'm going to use the guide hole in the tool, put the wire all the way through, and get that front bead. I'm just gently closing just so that I am holding on to things. Let me readjust my grip. And now I can see that this bead is really close to that. So I'm just going to back it off just a tiny bit and make sure that this loop is going in the flat position, so this one's going to be going in the perpendicular position, and just slowly and gently close the tool. I can watch it make that fresh blunt cut, and it's making my loop. I'm in control here. I'm not popping this closed. And then as my tool is closing, I'm going to pull this down like I did before and continue closing, and that way I have centered this loop there, and the entire time I was watching to make sure that there's no damage being done to my beautiful beads. And sometimes, like, can you see how that's open? Sometimes with the one-step looper, the wire goes in at a strange angle and the loop won't be totally closed. So you can either come and do it with your pliers, but honestly, I don't need to really do anything because I want to hang, I want to hang this on there, so it's perfect. That's the point of a simple loop, is opening and closing them and having that possibility. So now I'll close it. And I also have the habit of work hardening my loops and my jump rings by opening and closing my pliers with a little bit of force. So I'll do that like that, and it just adds a little stability. And that little earring is done. And I just want to show you something. Let me get my fingers out of the way. I just want to show you something on these beads. They are like a twisted drop with half opaque, like metallic gold, and half crystal. And because of the twist, when I put the little 22 gauge wire jump ring in, it makes the both sides of the colorway show on that drop, and I just love them. So if you notice, there are no ear wires. I had to go get my interchangeable ear wires. I had these in my stash, the little kidney shaped ear wire that's interchangeable. And I often show on my channel the gold filled interchangeable lever back ear wires because those are my favorites, really. But these are great sellers if you are doing craft fairs. Also, if you have gifts, because you can give the ear wires or sell the ear wires and make a few drops to change out, and they're really festive and just really beautiful. So any of the kidney shaped ear wires are just a great option if you do like a little organza bag for a gift or for selling at a craft fair, and do one pair of earrings and then make a few different drops, especially when you have a nice selection of beads like this. It's really a great gift and great selling point too. So I just love those, and then I can easily take them off and make some other drops, which I am going to do. So that first pair is done, and my second pair of earrings is going to be using 2 of these coin flower beads. And I created this little component that might seem a little bit tedious to some of you because I did use 22 gauge wire. I made a really large jump ring, and I just used my pliers to help me thread those on, and I'll show you how I did it. But you could do this same design and do even a simple, any of the drops, where you just put a jump ring through and create your drop the way that we did on this one. So I'm going to start out with another 20 gauge piece of wire. And I'm going to start out with a small, simple loop in the one end, just the way we did on the other one. And I'll work hard in a little bit, but it's a good loop. And then what I'm going to do is decide if I want to do any kind of a little spacer above this, or let me see if I like it just plain. It's actually such a gorgeous statement. Maybe I'm just going to do this one just as it is. And then it's the same thing on this earring, that I need this loop to be going horizontal to my mat, and I need my next loop to be going perpendicular to my mat. So I'm going to do that same thing where I hold it flat like this, put it in my one-step looper, and let it make, because it makes the loop going upward. So I'll just keep the bead parallel to my mat like that, just to help me see. But if you ever get your loops going in the wrong direction, with a pair of pliers on each end, you can do a simple correction. So I'm just going to let it make that cut, pull my bead down away, and on this one I am going to open it and thread on this little, make it a little bit wider, thread on that little dangle that I made. And that little earring is done, and it looks just like that. And as I said, these were gifts, so you can totally use the supplies that came in the box and do the silver version, but I just decided to change it up, and I think they're so cute. And here again, I can put an ear wire on them if I want to, but these are so fun if you want to just, you know, add them to an interchangeable ear wire, make a few options, you know, for, you know, this one's a little bit more elegant and sparkly, and this one's a little bit more fun and casual. So let me show you how I did the little drop. This is a 22 gauge wire. It's the one that I always use. And I'm just going to open this jump ring, and I'm going to feed on 5 of these little lentil beads. And the color is, you know, two-sided, so I just let them land whichever way. I didn't bother about facing them in a certain direction. Just threaded them onto this jump ring. And then I was able to fit 9 seed beads on my jump ring. And you could actually just leave it plain, but I just thought it was so cute, and it is 22 gauge wire, so I just did it this way, and just one at a time, just fed those seed beads on. It just is a nice effect. And when I have them on there, just get my pliers in, trying to, you know, just go slowly and just close that jump ring. It is only 22 gauge wire, so you can even get your fingers in there. And just make sure it's closed really well. In fact, I think on my first one, I grabbed for my Xuron crimping pliers, because they have such a tiny little tip, and that can be helpful sometimes in getting in small spaces. Just want to make sure it's closed really well. Okay, so that little component is ready, and it was not too difficult, not too tedious. I think that kind of thing is really fun, a little funky little component. And I'm just going to repeat the same thing again with my one-step looper. And you know, I just want to mention, I love my one-step looper. It's really nice to have those consistent loops, and it saves my hand from too much of a twisting motion. But you can always do your simple loops with your pliers. I just like this tool. So cute and so different, and I just love the geometry of the circles. You know, it's a circle, and then the little lentil beads are circles. There's just something so lovely about that. So 2 really fun, fast, easy, and unique pairs of earrings. And so now I want to jump to a bracelet project. So I did start to make these components, and the first thing I'm going to show you is this little coiled bead. I guess I kind of made a wire bead. And what I did is took that same 20 gauge wire and I just chose a length, and then I used the that length as my measurement, because when you do that, then every coil will be the same. So let me just reach behind me and grab another piece of wire. What I did is just took that, my first choice for the length, and I didn't measure. It's around 3 inches. It doesn't really matter the length of, obviously the longer your wire, the longer your coiled bead is going to be, but I just used my first one as my measurement for my, for my other ones. And so what I did is used my 6-step veil making plier, and I used the smallest mandrel on it because for this bead I wanted to make I wanted to use those little beads that came in the box. So I just did that and just said, oh, that's gonna fit perfectly. That was how I chose this mandrel. And I'm gonna start by putting my wire in between the 2 top mandrels and just, whoops, get a hold of it and just roll it toward my finger into a coil. And I want to do a nice neat coil, and I want my my wires to be laying next to each other, but it doesn't always do that. So I'm going to show you. It's an easy fix. Like this one is not great, but while it is on the mandrel, you can take your pliers and tidy up that coil if you have a loop that's gone rogue, or if it's like, I can see this top one that I started with, it's not quite tight around the mandrel, so I'm just going to chase it around with my pliers, and I'll keep going. And you can do that if your coil comes out wonky when you're making this little bead. You can readjust, get yourself back on the right track. Since I measured my wires, I'm holding this tight here, and I'm just going to use those pliers. You can even use nylon jaw pliers to finish wrapping. It's a little tough on your fingers when you get to the end, but use your mandrel and your pliers to finish wrapping that last little bit. You can turn it like that, and you want the whole thing because then all of your little beads will be the same. So that's what I did, and I want to make a bracelet with all of these links, and I'm planning to just do like really interesting links and link them together with jump rings. So I don't know exactly how many I'm going to need, but I'll show you how I made each one, and I'll get my length right off camera and then come back and we'll put the clasp on and try it on together. So if you can see, I'm just like tucking that last little bit, and then I can have a look and see if I need to tighten those coils or do anything to make it nice and neat. And then my little metal coiled bead is done. And so then all I did is took another piece of that same wire, 20 gauge wire, and I this time went up to my 2 1/4 millimeter 1-step looper. When I'm doing like a beaded chain or a rosary chain, I tend to lean towards the larger loops just because it makes the piece more fluid. It doesn't get kinked as much when you're wearing it, so I'll try to go up to a little bit larger loop. So I'm using the 2 1/4, and then I just created a little bead pattern with the beads from the box. One of those little rondelles. Let me bring my seed bead dish back in, and believe it or not, these little seed beads fit beautifully on 20 gauge wire. I discovered that. And then one of these Orion star beads, and then my little metal element just strung right on, and then just repeat the same thing in the opposite way. Seed bead and one more, and then back to the 1-step looper, I'm going to turn it so that all my loops are going up, and this time using the guide hole. And I will just tidy up my loop and work harden. And here's where I can see that loop needs to come down a little bit. So I tend to fuss with my jewelry. I like to do neat work. That's my style. So for me, you know, I'll spend a few minutes getting a component so that they, you know, so that they look great. And then this one was really simple. It is the same thing again with the one-step looper and a bead. So that's just repeat, repeat, repeat. Let me straighten my wire. Nylon jaw pliers are wonderful. And then I'm just going to take one of those matte faceted 6mm beads and put it on the wire, and it's just the same thing. And so when you're making a beaded chain or components like this, it's so nice to just listen to something and, you know, get them all done. And I am going to close these really well and work hard in them because I'm not opening these again. I'm going to connect my elements with jump rings. So I'm going to grab another piece of wire. Keep setting my spool behind another component with those little square beads. And another little tip, if you are using the one-step looper to do loops instead of your pliers, and if you have a lot of them to do, is to keep the tool in your hand. So I'll just like swing it out of the way and then continue to create. So I'm going to thread on one of these squares, and let's experiment with one of these. That's really pretty. Let's see if I would be able to, there's not a ton of these Orion beads, but I think there might be enough. Let's see how this looks. Whoops, wanted to take that one off. This part of jewelry making, just playing with the bead stacks, is so enjoyable to me, to get just the right look. I prefer the round one, and I'll do a little bit of that like on and off until I have it just right, you know, that sweet, that Goldilocks spot. So I'm just going to do a really simple little stack here, and that's going to be another element in my bracelet. Last one, there were 3 of these in the box. Look how pretty that is. Okay, back to the one-step looper. I never put it down. So if you're going to sit and make a lot of components, you know, that will, if time is of the essence, I try to make jewelry when I am not rushing. Like for me, this is so relaxing. I'm having a little bit of a hard day today, and it's raining, so I'm not going to get to go for my morning walk. And so I decided to get to work, enjoy my beads. It always helps me. So that little adorable, little textural, really dimensional component is ready. So I'm going to continue to make a few more of these components, and until I have my bracelet length, and I'll kind of work out a pattern. So it will just be a second for you, and we'll come back and finish this together. Okay, I finished all my components and got my bracelet length. I took a ball head pin and a couple of my leftover beads and made a little dangle, and I chose a black enamel lobster claw clasp for the closure, and I made these little small jump rings, and I'm using this to connect all my jump rings, just because sometimes on really small jump rings it's not easy to get 2 pairs of pliers in there. So I'm just using this, and this was one of the other components that I did. I took another one of the disc beads that I used in the earrings, just, you know, because it's like a set. And I'm just going to connect everything, and I'm just going to connect everything with these little jump rings. And also, while the camera was paused, I took my Soft Flex 18 gauge wire. I decided to make just a few jump rings out of that. I used my bail making plier, this step right here, just to have a nice thick heavy duty closure for my lobster claw to clasp onto. So I did those few things that might be boring to have you continue to watch me do them over and over again. And my last component here. The other thing that I realized and even considered is that I have so many beads left over because, as I said, this box was literally this month, you know, had the beads and supplies for 3 full pieces of jewelry. And I did 3 pieces, but smaller pieces than what was intended in the box. And I was thinking that I have so many beads left over that if I wanted to continue to create all different, like random, interesting components and make a necklace, I could easily keep going. So that is one thing that with a beaded chain or rosary chain style jewelry, your beads go a little further because you're taking up a lot of length of your design with the wire. And you could even attach even more jump rings in between to make it more chain-like. So, you know, if you like this idea with all the different beads kind of appearing in different components, this could be a really stunning necklace. So I am going to do my last 2 jump rings for the closure here. Put this on this end and put my little black lacquered lobster claw. Okay, I'm going to come to this end and just make sure that this 18 gauge jump ring is closed really well. So this is the last connection on this end. That is just so beautiful. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at that. And it can just go around and around, and no matter where it lands, there is something lovely to look at. So now I am going to take one of those 20 gauge jump rings and put my little charm on that I made. And I am going to come to this end and attach this charm, not through the loop, but over the entire circumference of my last wire component. Just get my little self in there and close that really well. And so what that does is my little drop here will spin 360 degrees around. So whether I pick up my bracelet and clasp it this way or this way, it doesn't matter. My little drop will just move freely, and it's just like a really nice little detail. So I have to say, this has been so much fun. I love getting these beads. I absolutely love this box. This is such a nice company. The boxes are so reasonable. I do have a discount code and a link, and I will put those in the description box underneath this video. Look how gorgeous these are. I mean, when you start with gorgeous Czech glass beads that come directly from the Czech Republic, you are not going to go wrong with anything that you make, and it just sparks creativity to get beads every, beads every month, and beads that are curated. And so these are the gold-filled lever back ear wires. Many of you have seen these because most of the time I don't put ear wires on my earring designs because I just do a loop and then, I change them out. I have a tray in my jewelry box that has the drops, and I have a couple pairs of these, so I can link those below too if you like the idea. They are a great gift. It's a high quality metal, And then if it's somebody in your life that you love and see often, you can add to their drops all the time, and they already have their ear wires. I've given them to pretty much all my friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check the description box, and I hope everybody's safe and well and having fun on your beading mats, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, creative friends.